7, an elite IDF Special Forces unit infiltrated the Hamas-run territory after intelligence reports revealed the location of the architect responsible for the Hamas tunnels network. An intelligence source who requested to remain anonymous revealed that the Israeli force entered Gaza by means of a civilian vehicle that was provided by a Palestinian collaborator with the aim of capturing the Islamist suspect. The source explained that the Israeli force was instructed to retrieve the terrorist, who could provide Jerusalem with detailed information with regard to the extensive terror tunnel network that had been dug by Hamas underneath the Palestinian Strip. The mission was initially reported as a failure, however, that after malfunction forced Israeli troops to abandon their objective and return back to the Jewish state. During the course of their retreat, the Israeli troops were uncovered by a local Hamas militant cell, leading to a heavy exchange of fire, during which one Israeli officer was killed and another was moderately injured. An Israeli military aircraft was dispatched to the area to assist Israeli forces, during which a heavy bombardment reportedly killed 6 Hamas militants, including the architect of Hamas's tunnel network, who also served as the Khan Yunis brigade commander of Hamas's military wing, the Izz al-Din al-Qassam brigades. As the incident evolved, residents of Israel's southern communities were instructed to go into their bomb shelters. Shortly thereafter, Palestinian Islamists launched some 17 rockets indiscriminately toward the Jewish state. 3 rockets were reportedly intercepted by the Iron Dome anti-rocket defense system, while the remainder of the rockets exploded in uninhabited areas. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, yet some damage was caused to one community in the Eshkola Regional Council. In response to the incident, a senior Hamas official, Ismail Ghadwan, vowed to respond to what he termed as Israel's aggression. Ghadwan insisted that Hamas was not eager for a new war with Israel, but underscored that Hamas was well prepared if a war were forced on it. As a result of the events in Israel's south, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cut short his visit to France, where he attended a peace forum commemorating the 100th anniversary of the armistice of World War I. During the developing situation in Gaza, the Israeli leader held a series of consultations with Israel's security establishment, after which it was decided to return to Israel for further consultations. The deteriorating situation vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip had apparently come as a surprise to the Israeli leader, that after he announced in a Paris press conference that Israel seeks to avoid an unnecessary war with Gaza. Netanyahu stressed that while he is subject to criticism, the measures taken by Israel aim at preventing the humanitarian collapse of some 2 million Palestinians that are being held hostage by the Islamist Hamas organization.
I do the minimal things that are necessary to maintain our security and to prevent the collapse of the humanitarian situation of the 2 million Palestinians who are held hostage by this Hamas, this terrorist organization.
While Israel is actively seeking to improve the lives of the Palestinian population in Gaza through coordination with regional Arab countries, Netanyahu stressed that unless Hamas recognizes Israel's right to exist and stops its aspired goal of annihilating the Jewish state, no political resolution can be realized with internationally recognized terror entity.
Hamas is not about to accept the Jewish state. By the way, if it did, then there is a solution, there is a vision, there are many possibilities that I think are available. But it starts with that. If your enemy wants to destroy you, then what can you talk about? The method of your annihilation? You can talk about bringing back prisoners or bringing back our fallen soldiers. That you can do. You can talk about humanitarian arrangements. You can do, but you can't have a political resolution with those who are committed to your dissolution, to your destruction. That's absurd.
When asked whether a resolution with regional Arab powers was subject to Israeli-Palestinian peacemaking, Netanyahu underscored that the Arab world understands that Israel is not to blame for the Palestinian dysfunctionality.
The fact that this taboo is being broken, that is that Arab states are saying, we know how recalcitrant Palestinian politics are. They know, and you know too. I mean, anybody who looks at it objectively understands one half of the Palestinian people is held hostage by radical Islamists, and the other half doesn't really stand up to them or has its own how shall I call it, dysfunctionalities in their politics, okay? So to blame Israel for the fact that they, are unable or unwilling to come to the table or don't want us anywhere near the table, don't want us walking on the face of the earth is absurd. Arab countries understand that. Arab governments understand that. They want the benefit of cooperating with Israel.
Prime Minister Netanyahu also took the opportunity to condemn the international community for their continued efforts to preserve the nuclear agreement with Iran, a regime that openly seeks to annihilate the Jewish state.
Here's a regime, Iran, that wants our destruction. They repeat it more often than Hamas. So what's the world doing with them? What are they making deals with them? I asked that question. In fact, I faced the entire world, all the great powers, quite a few of opposition in my own country. I said, how can you make deals that effectively pave the highway for a future nuclear arsenal within a few years and give them billions of dollars with which they can build their empire of aggression and terror? And we just uncovered two of their terror efforts here on the soil of Europe. How can you make this deal with them? How?
Now in other news, despite threats that were voiced by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, experts believe that Turkey is not likely to conduct further military operations in Syria, regardless of the continuing friction between Turkish security forces and Kurdish militants in the northern region of the war-torn country. To the dismay of the Turkish leadership, the U.S. military has launched joint patrols with the Kurdish militias in northern Syria since the beginning of this month, despite Turkey's military activities along the Euphrates River. While Turkey previously shelled an area controlled by the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces in October, analysts believe that Ankara is unlikely to take an increased military action in the near future to avoid errant fire from targeting American troops. In response to the shelling by the Turkish army, the Syrian Democratic Forces announced on the 31st of October that it would suspend the fight against Islamic State in Deir ez-Zor Governorate and shift its forces toward Turkey. The move is viewed as an attempt to exert pressure on the United States, as the Kurdish armed forces have always been an important ally of the United States in Syria.
الأكراد هم الحلفاء الأساسيين على الأرض. كانت مشكلة الولايات المتحدة منذ بداية الأزمة السورية عدم القدرة على إيجاد حليف على الأرض. لذلك عندما استطاعت بعد معركة عين عرب كوباني أن تقيم مثل هذا التحالف فهي غير مستعدة للتخلي عنه.
Well, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said he would discuss the challenges posed to his country from Syria during the Paris summit with his American counterpart Donald Trump. No details have emerged on the matter as of yet.